Hey guys, I'm so excited to introduce our next guest. It's Dr. Peter Martone, and we're going to talk all about intermittent fasting and sleep and how your sleep can get affected from intermittent fasting. Please welcome Dr. Peter. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Chantel. It's so good to be on the show. I love being part of the summit. This is great. I'm really inspired to create happy, healthy, more a happy, healthier, more well-rested planet. Because my backstory is I'm a chiropractor. I'm an exercise physiologist. I'm a nutritionist, and I have been studying sleep for the last 18 years. I had some challenges when it came to a death, and a really close friend of mine passed away and put me into a pretty deep depression. And I started, kind of going down that slippery slope of drinking a little bit too much alcohol, not getting good sleep. And I found myself go from 180 pounds all the way up to 205. And I really was at kind of a tough place. And I say, what are some of the fundamental things in life? We have to eat food, we got to breathe air, we got to drink water, and we have to sleep. So I came up with this I would say recipe that I use in my own life of the things to be able to get my health back on track, and sleep was a big one. So I started sleeping, started monitoring my sleep, figuring out things on sleep position, and what I found is that the better sleep I get, and I take my weight every morning, I really monitor some different metrics, and the deeper sleep that I got and the better sleep that I got, my metabolism would actually speed up. And that really, as a nutritionist, really kind of, because I never heard of that before, and it really intrigued me. So I dove into deep, and I dove into sleep deep, and I'm still there 15 years later.
That's awesome. Well, I have something to show you. So I have an Aura ring. Do you have one of
Me too.
those?
Yeah, I was actually I felt it on my way to my office. I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot. It's I'll be very transparent. Last night I was at a Christmas party, and I was at a Christmas party, the night before, and holiday party, a whole bunch of stuff that we've been going on, and my ring has been giving me really bad scores,
That is funny.
especially my sleep score.
Well, I'm going to show you something because
Nice,
this
that's
is
great.
good because today I'm actually doing a fast and I'm on a 48-hour fast right now. 5 o'clock today will end a 48-hour fast for me. So two days. And I'll just show you. So last night, normally I would say I get about, if you look at my average sleep score on the Aura Ring, I get about an 80. And so it's almost pretty consistent. I don't, get 100, but I get about an 80. And then, so the first night of my fast, when I did my first fast, my sleep, I went all the way to a 68. And I didn't sleep well for whatever reason. And then last night was the second day of the fast. And then I got a 90 as my contributor. So I thought that's kind of interesting. That's just me personally. But let's talk about that. So let's just say somebody is fasting. First, we'll talk about intermittent fasting. Then we'll talk about extended fasting. Do you feel like intermittent fasting helps people with their sleep, and why or why not?
Well, as far as intermittent fasting itself, so food plays a huge role in food timing, plays a huge role in sleep. So if the goal is to get better sleep, the timing of your food and what you eat is important. Now, you really want to have, you don't want your blood sugar levels to drop too much at night. So that's what happened the first night is if you're fasting, your blood sugar levels drop, your body goes into kind of like a survival mode, and it interrupts your sleep patterns. Anything that you do differently will interrupt your sleep patterns. And then as you go into another night, the body adapts a little bit more. So I like to see trends. So I love the Oura Ring because it tracks things, but I would love to see a month of trends. And then when you're looking at that, more often than not, people are eating the wrong foods before they go to bed. They're eating too late before they go to bed. They're elevated, their body core temperatures are too high because you're metabolizing food and you're not able to drop into a nice cool temperature so your body is able to get that deep sleep. So intermittent fasting, especially if you're good with your timing, helps regulate all those patterns. But you still want to make sure that you don't eat late at night. You can actually eat late at night. You just can't eat a lot of food late at night.
So this is a good question because a lot of people say to me, I've heard them say, they'll say something like, well, I'm the type of person that I cannot eat a big meal and then go to bed. Like if I ate a big meal before bed, I will not get a good night's sleep. And then there's another whole camp over here that they're like, I can't go to bed hungry. If I go to bed hungry, I'm not going to get a good night's sleep, which is where I tell people that's where you have to see what works best for you, right? Like if you're figuring out what eating window works best for you, I love eating between 12 and 6 because for me, before I go to sleep, I like to have 2 to 3 hours before I go to bed to digest my food. And that's how I feel like I get a better night's sleep. So what do the studies say? Is it better for you to eat less or is it better to, which camp are you following?
So both of them are right, believe it or not.
Okay.
And I'll explain why. You want to have food in your stomach. You want to have food in your digestive tract during the middle of the night because you don't want your blood sugar levels to drop too much. But you have to play kind of a fine line. So let's look at this. If let's say you have a big bowl of pasta, and I'm not a big gluten fan and I'm not a big carbohydrate fan anyways, but let's say you have a big Thanksgiving dinner, okay? And you have that Thanksgiving dinner. I don't care if and you have it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, you still will not get a good night's sleep that night because it takes so much time to digest the complexity of all of that food. So what you want to do is you want to, like, let's say you have to eat, and the people that can't go to sleep starving or don't want to go to sleep really hungry, they're correct. Because you want to, it doesn't necessarily mean that it all depends on your blood sugar levels. So if you're really hungry, what do you eat before you go to bed? You can have a little bit of like gluten-free toast with maybe a little bit of butter on there, a scoop of sunflower butter, something like that goes into your stomach a little bit and is slowly digested during the night. You don't want a lot of food in your system that elevates your body's core temperature. So you'll get a sense of this. So if you eat food and you wait a couple hours, you'll notice that you get warm, and you're warm because this heat is produced when you digest your food. You don't want that to interrupt with your sleep patterns. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you want to have a little bit more of a fat before you go to bed, like avocado would be a good thing that you could have right before bed. Something that's easily digestible on your stomach that doesn't spike your insulin levels.
Did you know that you can get all 4 of the books that I wrote, Waste Away, Fasting to Freedom, One Meal into Tasting, and Freedom from Food? You can buy all 4 books and get the ebook for free. Go right now to ChantelRayway.com, or you can go to Amazon. Also, I just wrote a brand new book called How to Delegate Everything But Sex. If you are stressed out and are tired of doing everything on your own, go check out Delegate Everything But Sex, and there's all kinds of freebies on the site.
Okay, well, I have a funny story to tell you that happened last night, actually. So my husband tried to sleep with me in the middle of the night, and that's like one of my biggest pet peeves is he tries to like have sex with, I'm like, look, we can have sex any other time, but not in the middle of the night. I want to get a full night of sleep. And he said to me this morning, because he said, well, just so you know, it's your fault for me wanting to have sex with you in the middle of the night because you kicked off all the covers and were butt naked, and so I couldn't help myself, and so I wanted to sleep with you. And so,
yes. Fantastic reason.
So let's talk about now the whole thing that people are talking about is, that you want to have the temperature in the room colder, or what I've heard is you want it to be cool because if it's cooler, you're going to get a better night's sleep. Well, in my case, that definitely is the case because I wouldn't be kicking off the covers. But in general, is that true? Do you want to make the temperature in your room colder so that you can get a better night's sleep?
Okay, we're going to talk about there are a lot of variables here. When I ask a question, there's too many things that go in my mind. So I'm going to really try to simplify this. All right, your body core temperature, in order to get into a deep sleep, needs to drop. Okay, it needs to drop about 2 degrees. So you want to be in a deep sleep before midnight, by the time of midnight. So you should be going to sleep at least 2 hours at this time of year, 2 hours before midnight, and you want to get your body into a deep sleep by midnight, because there's an energy spike that happens at midnight. That's why people get a second wind. So in order for your core temperature to drop quickly, you want to make sure that you're not digesting food, that you didn't just work out. You don't want anything to mess with your that increases heat internally. The one thing that happens with women that are a little bit different with men, they also have hormonal fluctuations. So when you have hormonal fluctuations, that can also elevate your core temperature and drop you out of a sleep. So how do you regulate that? Well, everybody knows that your temperature should decrease. Well, I believe that people take that too much to an extreme, and they miss a process called the allostatic load, which means is your body has so much energy to be able to use, and it will take that energy and distribute it to vital resources. So one of the vital resources is keeping your body at 98 degrees, right? So if you have all your covers off and all your skin's exposed to a temperature in the room that's 68 degrees, you're going to deplete your digestive system, your immune system, and your reproductive system, areas that are supposed to thrive in the middle of the night, and take that energy to be able to maintain a core temperature, which is a survival system, at 98 degrees. So I don't like being exposed consistently to the environment, right? I don't like to expose my skin, because I like my body to temperature regulate out my hands and my feet. And what do I mean by that? Well, there are different areas there are different times in the night where your body temperature should drop, and then it'll elevate slightly. You want your body core temperature to drop, let's say, from the time you go to bed to about 1 a.m. So what I like to do is I like to use like a base on the bottom, like a chili pad or something that cools my core temperature to a place where my body is cool, to cool down to a certain period of time, and then it heats up for the rest of the night. If you're wearing a whole bunch of covers on top of you and everything's under the covers, your body can't temperature regulate out of your head, so in the middle of the night you'll throw off the covers. What you do is you keep your arms and your feet or your hands exposed, and then your body can temperature regulate out those areas like a radiator, and then you just keep a warm core. So you're really only worried about the core temperature from your chest down to your hips, and then everything else can be exposed.
So what temperature do you put your room at? Like in your bedroom, what do you like, and what do you have on your bed? Like, describe in detail. Like we want to know what you do.
My whole setup is I am like the sleep. I mean, I'm pretty particular about what I sleep on.
Okay, well, we want to hear all the details, and
all right.
Don't hold anything back, and describe it in as much detail as you can.
Okay. So I am a believer. We've come up with a concept called the neutral sleeping position. If people are going to text on their computers all day long, or type on their computers, they're going to text, they're going to be reading. We have this whole forward head posture world. So I believe the only sleeping position to be able to adopt is on your back. On your back with a pillow underneath your neck, not under your head. So now I've created an environment for me to be able to sleep like that. Once I fall asleep in one position.
So hold on. So let me stop you right there. So what I just heard you say is that you never are sleeping on your right side. You're never sleeping on your left side. You're always sleeping just with your head back. And what kind of pillow are you using?
I'm using a pillow that we actually designed called the neck nest. And what it does, goes right underneath your neck, and it arches your neck back and locks it into a neutral sleeping position. So I support my neck, not my head. And that is very, very important, because in order to get comfortable, you need to distribute your weight over the greatest surface here, which is on your back. And you can't do this to your head, which is, you don't want pillows should be for your bed. They're not for your head because they do this. You want that to happen and put your body and put your neck in a nice neutral position. And for a video on that, they could go to necknest.com. I have videos on how to get into that position.
And you guys sell that pillow on your website?
On necknest.com, correct, yeah.
Okay. And that is awesome. So show that pillow one more time.
All right, let me move back here.
Yeah, so people can really get like a good visual of it. So you can see
what's happening in our body. So our spine should have this cervical curve. And this is the head looking forward. And then the neck, then you will have a nice loose muscle structure here. And then the spine will stay nice and straight. And because of our forward head posture, in our sleeping position, this is happening. We call it text neck or tech neck. And the muscles are getting tight, and then the spine rotates. So I herniated a disc about 5 years ago, and it was because of a mountain biking injury. But I did a review of 2,000 x-rays and found when somebody loses this curve due to the modern day lifestyle, they cause a lower back issue. So we designed something to go under here to do this. So you want to support this, not your head. So what we designed here is something, hold on, this goes to your left, so tags to my left. We designed something like this.
Okay.
It's a two-chambered down design where you want to only support to put your head in a neutral sleeping position. You want your pillow to go down to about 3 inches. So this will go down to a really small area. So what ends up happening is, see the soft down part on the top, and then the base, your shoulders go right underneath that, and it locks it in. So hold on, left side. So it goes like this. And if you look at this from the side, that's what it does.
Got it.
Now, so that's what I use for a pillow. I use a pillow underneath my neck. You can get a similar thing done if you get a soft pillow, but don't put the pillow under your head or the down pillow. Put it under your neck and get that neck arched back. So when you're able to do that, the bed becomes a little less important because a lot of people want hard, firm support, or they're in these Tempur-Pedic beds that contour. Beds that are becoming more and more comfortable are causing more of a problem because you're getting more comfortable sleeping on your side, and then people are getting shoulder issues. They're getting impingement syndrome. The impingement syndromes. Their hands are falling asleep. So you want to sleep in that neutral position. What kind of bed do you get, or what? Well,
let me stop you real quick because this is a really I can't get past the whole sleeping on your back because this is a big thing. Because I'm telling you, I try really hard to sleep on my back, and every night I end up either on my left side or my right side. And like you said, I'm sleeping on my right side, and every morning I'm waking up and my right shoulder, I go to the gym almost every day, and one of my trainers, he's like, how's your shoulder doing? And it's like, my shoulder is not hurting from, lifting weights or doing whatever. My shoulder is hurting every morning I wake up for the first several hours because I'm sleeping on my side. So how do let's start with, what are some tips to get me? Obviously, I need to order your pillow. That's step one. But what are some tips to get people to try to get sleeping on their back?
That is a fantastic question, because the number one thing that I hear is I can't sleep on my back. And I said, okay, let's dissect that. When you said I sleep on my side, why do people sleep on their side? You went like this. What did your hands do? They came in here because you feel protected when you sleep on your side. When you sleep on your back, you feel exposed. So it's a protective thing. Back in the day, we want to all feel protected. So that's where those weighted blankets come into play. A pillow on your chest. I put a pillow over my head. I call it the head garage, where I put something over my head and I cover my eyes. And because you feel protected, like an ostrich sticking their head in the ground feels protected. You feel protected when you have pressure on you. So the first thing I tell people to say is, listen, if we can agree that to maintain a healthier alignment, you do that lying on your back, let's dissect that and let's give you a few tips to do it. You only want to start 1 to 2 hours a night on your back. You don't want to do it the whole night, because what will happen is you'll wake up and you'll be stiff, you'll be sore, you won't sleep good that night because your body's not used to it. And depending on how much degeneration or arthritis you have in your neck or your back, you might only be able to start 45 minutes on your back. But if you make that your lifestyle habit, you start on your back, you put a pillow on your neck. When you wake up in the middle of the night, throw it on the floor and do whatever you need to do. So start an hour on your back. Start using pressure. Put a pillow on your chest, put a pillow over your head, something like that to be able to do it. Stick your arms and your feet out of the covers so the body can temperature regulate. And then now let's get back into the bed question. I believe in sleeping at the research says about a 5 to 8 degree angle. So you sleep slightly elevated and you just take the angle slightly out of the legs. So you can put something under your knees at the beginning, and then that'll allow you to sleep more comfortably on your back. And then you're going to have, there's so many different things. We address those in an online program called the Sleep Quest, but there's so many different variables. There's going to be snoring. There's going to be, my mouth opens up, but there are different techniques to use to be able to help you sleep on your back.
Awesome. So give us, well, you didn't finish. Is there anything else you do yourself personally for your room? You're trying to avoid the question, and we're coming right back to it.
All right. Okay.
For the temperature of the room, all of that. Any other details you can share?
All right. So let's get to my bed setup. I believe, like I said, the bed is a little less important. So I have something that's called a sleep number bed. You don't have to run and spend all that money on a sleep number bed. But what I think is critical is being able to sleep on a platform that elevates, okay, that moves. So that's either latex, that's Sleep Number. Level Sleep has a bed that's latex. A bed that isn't coil, that can bend. So the first thing you do is you invest in a bed that can bend. If you can't invest in the base that bends it yet, just get the mattress that bends. I like to bend individually of my spouse. So if I want to sleep slightly sitting up and she wants to sleep flat, that's fine. So I believe the bed is a sanctuary. Your sleep, you have to protect that. So we have a king size bed, and we have it's called a split king. So I have my mattress, she has her mattress. Next layer on top of that is I have a sleep topper. So I have a 4-inch latex topper that I put on top of that. Then let me
ask you a question. So you're saying you want a bed like a Sleep Number where you can elevate it. What does your position look like? So on this side of the bed,
my
head is where?
Head's up at 5 to 8 degrees, and then my feet come up so I don't slide down the bed just slightly. So my feet come up about 2 degrees, 3 degrees.
So wait, if this is your head right here, then is the bed this way or the other way?
Yeah, correct.
So your
arms at a 45 degree angle. Bring it down a little bit more.
Okay.
Right, down, right there. Yeah.
Okay. So your head is higher than your feet.
Yes.
Okay. So your head is a little bit higher. You like to be at a 45 degree angle.
No, a 5 to 8 degree angle.
Oh, 5 to 8 degree angle. Okay. So your head is 5 to 8 degrees higher than your feet.
Yeah. So that would be an elevated about 5 inches up, right? So you can also buy sleep wedges if you don't invest in the bed. So they make these sleep wedges that are like 6 or 7 inch wedges. Those work okay also. Okay.
All right. And what temperature did you say your room is?
So my room's at 68 degrees.
Okay.
But I also, so remember, I have the Sleep Number bed, then I have a latex topper, then I have a cooling pad underneath, a cooling or heating pad. So if I want to, so I keep my cooling pad at, let's say, 68 degrees, and then if I'm exercising, I'll keep it lower, like at 65 degrees, or if I eat a little late, I'll drop it even cooler. So what happens, I have a cooling pad underneath me that changes temperature, in the middle of the night. So it goes from 68 degrees from the time I go to bed to 1 a.m. And then at 1 a.m. it rises. So I wake up warmer than I go to sleep, because that's how your temperature. And if you look at your Oura ring, you'll see your sleep temperature, and you can mimic a base to be able to do that for you.
So the latex pad, why are you using the latex pad?
Because
That extra one?
Yeah, because the sleep number it caused too many pressure points. I like to be able to allow my body to contour into the bed, because then I have a down comforter on top of that I put on top of that. So think about it. I'm sleeping with a down feather bed. I have a cooling mattress underneath that. I got a latex topper underneath that, and then I have my bed underneath that. So I'm a little different. I like to be, when I go to bed, because I don't toss and turn, it's critical for me to distribute my surface area and not create pressure points.
Okay. So talk about the cooling kit that you have that either cools or heats you. What brand is that? Where do you get that from? And describe one more time what temperatures you put that at.
Yeah, so that is, it's called the Uller. It's like, it's a chili pad. They make chili pad, and then they make the Uller. If you go on Uller.com or chili pad, the name is escaping me right now. But they have two. Chili pad. I think you go on chilipad.com or something like that. Chili pad in
Is
Uller.
it Chili Technology?
Yes, that's what it is. Chili Technology.
Mm-hmm.
So, the reason why I like the Uller versus the chili is because of the fact the Uller you can change on your phone and set the temperatures. The chili, you just set one temperature and you have to sleep at it the whole night. To me, I like the fact that I can get data from my Oura Ring, see what my temperature spikes are doing independent of that, and a good night's sleep, get like a 90, see what your temperature in your body did, and then set the pad to mimic that. And that's how I've biohacked my deep sleep. I only used to get 30 minutes of deep sleep. I don't know if when you got your Oura Ring, you were appalled at how little deep sleep you actually got. Now I get an hour and 15 minutes of deep sleep in restorative sleep. And it's been so great. And I've done that by biohacking my sleep, my temperature.
Okay, so let me recap what you said. So you can go to chilitechnology.com, and then they have two different things there. They have the chili pad, and that's like around $500. Then you have the Uller, which that's around $700. But with the Uller, you can actually program it to say, okay, from this time to this time, put it at this temperature, and from this time to this time, put it at this temperature. Mm-hmm. Is that what I heard you say?
That is true. Yeah, and if they use code SQQuest, they're able to get a discount on both of those or something like that.
Okay. So let's talk about, I'll pull up my numbers last night since they're so phenomenal.
I love them. Yeah, let's scroll through those. I love to talk about those.
Let's go through. Okay. So last night I got 8 hours and 27 minutes of sleep, which is a lot of sleep for me. And I got, so they have total sleep.
Good sleep.
8:27.
Go to your readiness. So go to the next one over. Click on your readiness. Yeah. And then go up on your readiness, and I want to see what your scroll up. Yep, right there. Go up a little bit more. Keep going. I want to see that number right there. Heart rate variability.
Resting heart rate or
heart rate variability right below that.
Okay.
Okay, good. Got you. So now you got a great night's sleep, right?
Okay.
So that heart rate variability tells me that you got a single great night's sleep. So overall, we would want your heart rate variability to be higher. So what we would do is we would take your sleep score, look at your temperature, look at what you did, and we would want to mimic that 90, and we want to stay conscious of that heart rate variability score. You would want that heart rate variability at like a 50. Once you're at a 50, you're doing really, really well.
I don't know about you guys, but I am stressed. And if you're feeling overwhelmed this holiday season, then I get it. With all the family get-togethers, it is just a relentless source of stress. But anyway, there is something that I've got called Stress Guardian. And it's actually made by Bioptimizers, the people who make the magnesium breakthrough, which I love, love, love. But anyway, they are literally made this new product. It has 14 adaptogenic herbs and it just regulates your stress. I just actually took some right this second and it's awesome. If you go to stressguardian.com/wasteaway and put in waste away for 10% off your first order, it's stressguardian.com/wasteaway. Go there now.
Wow. Well, and it's funny that my husband, like, isn't this funny that like all of this happened right when I'm talking to you? Because it's so funny. Like, how would I even know that I kicked all my covers off, right? He just happened to send me a text this morning, telling me that I kicked all my covers off. So I wonder if I had, kept my covers on and had my hands and my feet out and had the temperature, because obviously it must have been very hot in my room.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wonder if I had it at 68 degrees, if I would have gotten a better night's sleep, because I did have a pretty high score.
And then one of the issues also when you start to intermittent fast and you start to fast, you detoxify. So that can also elevate your temperature if your body's detoxifying in the middle of the night. So there are other variables, but I really like that 90. And then once you look at your 90, and let's say you get a sleep score of 90, 91, 92, 89, you look at all three of them, analyze the data, and then try to mimic that due to your sleeping platform.
Well, great. Well, give us if you had to give someone any other last minute tips that you could tell people of what they can do to get their sleep in a better score. Like what is your score, by the way?
I usually get 93. Well, last night, because I went out, it was bad. My ring actually told me to slow down, which I understand. But usually 93, 91, 94. My best score was a 96. I haven't got 100 yet, but I can still get 89, 87. But I'm working with people that can't get above a 50. They can't get above a 40. I mean, they have some really, 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 some people have some sleep challenges. So we're working with them. But what I would tell you is if let's say you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't fall asleep, or you have a difficult time falling asleep, and you wake up multiple times a night, one of the big tips that it can give you is, remember this: sleep is a mind game. And you sleep in the back part of your brain, right back here. So you sleep in the back part of your brain, you think in the front part of your brain, and you have to focus so hard on getting the blood back here to fall asleep. Well, how do you do that? You can't think yourself to sleep. You have to remember yourself to sleep. So you think about a memory that happened in the past, something good, something with good feeling. Think about everything, how you felt that day, like a walk in the park, and you remember and you remember and you remember that. Because we all want to wake up and think about our to-do list. It's a very addictive time to think. But you have to remember, you have to be really conscious on keeping the blood in the back part of your brain. You won't only get to bed quicker, you'll stay asleep longer, and you'll get a more restful sleep.
Guys, I just want to interrupt for just a second, and I want you to hear Paul Saladino talk about why liver is so important. And if you don't like liver, we have another option for you.
Your ancestors were eating liver. And the reason that this sort of wisdom has been passed down is because liver is very nutritious. It's basically nature's multivitamin. If you look at the nutrients in meat, they're great. You've got zinc, you got B6, you got B12, you got some K2. But if you look at liver, it really complements what's in muscle meat. And there are many unique nutrients found in organs, specifically liver as a powerhouse of these, that are difficult to obtain outside of liver. Like meat and organs are like peanut butter and jelly. They just go together. They're supposed to be eaten together. The easiest way to eat liver is just to do it raw. If you don't want to eat liver raw, you can cook it. But the reason that I like to do it raw is because there are unique nutrients in liver that are probably somewhat degraded when you cook the liver.
This really is like the most nutrient rich supplements that you can find. And they are amazing. I have tried them. I absolutely love them. So just go to heartandsoil.co, use the coupon code and save you some money there.
Awesome. Well, I always get at least about 7.5 to 8 hours sleep a night. I've never had a problem sleeping. I sleep very well at night. Like when I go down, I play hard during the day. I work hard during the day, but when it comes to sleeping, I sleep hard too. But for those people who really just they have a trouble, getting to sleep. They have trouble waking up in the middle of the night and, going back to sleep. What would be your advice for those folks?
There's so many variables that come into sleep. So you want to set up your environment, like we said, nice cool temperature, make sure all the lights are off in your room, cut down the use candle lights if you're staying up. If it's later, use like candles, because that candle actually causes your body to release melatonin. Don't keep all the lights on. Try to stay away from your screen on your phone, because that blue light can interfere with you. True Dark makes these glasses you can put on, and it helps your body release melatonin. There's so many biohacks to be able to do. But really, one of the things is you want to make sure that from the time that you go to sleep, that you're beginning with the end in mind. So don't have a lot of fluid and water in your digestive tract, because you're going to pee all night. You can pee all night long. And if you wake yourself up because your body's got to pee, it's now you have to deal with trying to go back to sleep. So I like to have my clients.
So let me ask you that. So what time, like if someone wants to go right before they're going to sleep, the last time that they should put any fluids in would be what?
Would be about 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. So they're not having any other fluids.
They can, but only a little bit. And then if you're properly hydrated, your body will eliminate that after about a half an hour. So you want to pee right before you go to bed. So if you're going to have fluid, right, you want to be able to, I see you're drinking water. I drink a ton of water, but the more water you drink, the more you pee. So you want to be able to, I have clients that are just starting out with this. They stop at 6 o'clock. They can have a little bit after that. If you're working out, maybe you can have a little bit more, but stop at 6 o'clock and then have just a little bit. You don't want to make up you want to have all of your water done at the beginning of the day, not the end of the day. And then stop eating late. And if you have to eat late because you're starving, have something small, and to just be able to put something in your stomach, and then make sure that your sleep is a sanctuary. Clean your room, unclutter, have a good restful environment, because sleep is so important, and we have to start treating it that way and not saying it's just something that I have to do and I can just forget about my sleep.
Well, this has been an absolute pleasure. You are a ton of fun. I am going to go to necknest.com and go get one of your pillows right away. And I'm going to do my part of doing everything I can to sleep on my back. I'll have to report to you on how I did. But tell listeners how they can find you and follow your work.
Well, they can go to necknest.com. And why don't we do this, Chantel? Mm-hmm. Why don't they go to necknest.com, and then what we do, if they use a code Chantel Ray, we'll offer a very special treat.
Awesome.
So what they'll do is, if they purchase a neck nest, we'll add in a 30-day educational program for them called the Sleep Quest. So everything that we talked about here today, if you purchase a Sleep Quest a neck nest using that code, what we'll do is we'll give you, it's an online program. It costs $199. We'll give that to you. It's a video. You'll get one video a day for 30 days, and it'll teach you everything about sleep position, how to stay on your back, what the neutral sleeping position is, what foods to eat, what foods to stay away from, how alcohol affects you, how THC affects you. We go through everything over the period of 30 days, and that will be theirs free. So just go to necknest.com and and use Chantel Ray when you check out.
That sounds great. I love it. Thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Peter. This has been fun. And you guys stay tuned for our next episode.